Hey, what's up? I'm Rachel Star. I am a schizophrenic, and so some of my scariest hallucinations ever. I think people always like assume that like my scariest ones are like the monsters and stuff like that, and I guess maybe like when I was a kid, I saw monsters, but I think what was scarier was seeing like demon faces. I'd see them in trees, in the walls, just things like that. Like just I would just see them, and then to this day, like I could pretty much like see faces and things. Like that's a pretty common thing. Like right now, if I were to just like look at like the leaves over here, if I just stare them for a good minute, faces start appearing and popping out, and always scary faces. But does it bother me anymore? No, obviously. When I was a little kid, it kind of freaked me out. So as an adult, some of my scarier hallucinations since I've been 18 plus. One of the ones that's always stood out, and I think I've mentioned it in a video before, was the security guard. I was traveling, and I have to be very careful I don't travel like this anymore. I used to go like super hardcore and be like drive all night and it's nothing. But at the time, I was in a minivan and I was sleeping in the back at a rest stop. And I'd just been driving, just gonna like take a few hours, take a nap, and then get back on the road. And I was in the back of the minivan, sleeping. And I think what happened in real life was maybe a security guard was looking in the vehicle. I think that's what happened as far as real life. But my hallucination was there was a security guard in the car with me, and he stopped he was just a torso. So he was a head and a torso, no arms, and he was like chopped in half. And he was just like there staring at me, and he just stared at me, and I was petrified, and I couldn't move, and I was so freaked out. And what usually happens when I get to that point is that I pass out. At some point I pass out. When I came to, he wasn't there anymore, and I pretty much quickly got on the road and got out of there because I was just like so freaked out. That was a while ago. That was maybe 2021, 22, I don't know. Something like that, maybe even older, I don't know. Yeah, it was years ago. So I'd say in the past few years, the scariest one, I think, because it could have turned out really bad, was I was eating snap peas. You know the little snap peas, you snap them and they pop. It's a vegetable. It's good for you. Anyway, so I'm eating these snap peas, and I've kind of been obsessed with, like, I go into, like, obsessions with certain vegetables where I'll get, like, really into tomatoes, really into whatever. So snap peas were my thing for that week. And I'd eaten some, and whether or not I ate some bad ones or not, I don't know. But I started getting really, really sick. And it felt to me like the snap peas were trying to claw their way out of me. And I started drinking all this Pepto-Bismol. I started trying to, I went from Pepto-Bismol to, not diuretics, I guess, laxatives. I was just freaking out because I felt like they were trying to rip out of me, and I could feel them crawling around inside of me, and it was horrible. I could feel it through my body, and it was just driving me insane. And at that, I was acting, I was acting on it, which is pretty scary because most of the time I have hallucinations, but I don't act on them. I'm able to discern, even if it's annoying me or affecting me, this isn't real. But the snap peas ones were just so intense, and I just felt like I could feel them tearing me apart from the inside. And luckily at that time I was with someone, and they pretty much kept me under control, which is good because had I been alone, I could have, I don't know if you can really get sick from Pepto-Bismol and stuff, but it's not good to just drink a whole bottle. But I was just kind of freaking out and not thinking straight. So they were able to talk me down and kind of keep me under control for that. Another one I had for a while, and it used to be a really hard hallucination for me to deal with, and wherever I went, it was always there. Whether it was in the back of my mind, if you've ever had intrusive thoughts or intruding thoughts, you know what I'm talking about, where it's this thought you can't get rid of. It's there. No matter what you try and do, it's there. You're watching a movie, it's there. You're talking to your friends, it's there. You're trying to do your work, it's there. And it was one, and I still have it, of me. For some reason, though, the hallucination Rachel had blonde hair. I don't know why that hallucination had blonde hair, whereas sometimes my hallucinations of me, they look like me, but different versions of me. So this one had blonde hair, and she was from high school age Rachel. And I don't really know how it was just kind of I knew that she was from high school age Rachel. I had blonde hair in high school too. So she had blonde hair, but the entire face, all the way through here, was cut off. Very, very graphic, about as graphic as it sounds. Completely, all it is like had been cut off and pulled apart, and the rest of her is intact. It's just the face has been cut off, and I would have that staring at me all the time. I used to fall asleep with her in the room across from me, staring at me. You know, I'd see her in the mirror. When I looked in the mirror, that's what I would see, and it really that was hard on me. I think shortly after that, I moved back in with my parents. This is back when I was like, maybe I would have been before I turned 21. So I moved back in with my parents and started getting help, because I think I was on this road of that was going to lead to suicide, because it was so intense. And I still have her, but I've kind of I'm good with her now. She doesn't really bother me anymore. She's just kind of there. You know, I don't see it as like a scary thing. I just see it as, you know, one of the versions of my mind has somehow created. So she doesn't bother me now. Lately, I'd say like in the past few months, scary hallucinations. I've had a few where I it's more like, not like scary, like but scary like I wake up very confused, and that scares me. The thought of not being able to come back to a certain line of thinking kind of freaks me out. As far as monsters, I see monsters all the time. People want to know what they look like. It's hard to describe. The best movie I've ever seen that you could, like, I guess, understand, for me, I know everyone with hallucinations is different, but is Coraline. The movie Coraline. It's a claymation movie, if you ever see it. And when she's in the other world, and the other world starts to come apart, and like her dad turns into a spider and different things, and it's like the characters she knew, except they're distorted. That's what my hallucinations are like. Like when I was watching that movie, I was like, oh my god, that's exactly what my hallucinations are. And then of course the other movie I always suggest is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That's a really good movie too, as far as capturing, I think, schizophrenia. And there's a few times like where she's walking and she sees like the people's faces are distorted. That definitely happens a lot. Doesn't scare me. When I was a kid, it obviously scared me. I was growing up in the church. They told me that was demons presenting themselves. Great. So that didn't exactly help it. But yeah, I mean, I see that all the time. It kind of freaks me out, especially when like I'm at work or I'm out with friends or something, and it's like I'll see something and I know it's not right, and it's scary, and it's like I have to force myself not to look, because then I'm like this creepy person just staring. But in my mind, I'm trying to be like, okay, that person has a monster face. It's not Halloween. It's not like a physical deformity. We're talking like monster face, like demonic monster face, no eyes, hollowed out hell tunnels. I don't know for eyes. So yeah, those are just some of my scariest hallucinations. I can't think of anything else. If you have any questions more specifically about them, then, you know, bust them down in the comments. Send me an email, rachel@rachelstarlive.com. Yeah. So, bam! I'm Rachel Star, and I'm out. Hope everyone is having a really awesome day. Hallucination.